So hello everyone, and happy 2025. This is Bill Diorio speaking to you from the same undisclosed location in North Boulder. And it's been a while since I've put a video up. The last one was just kind of my wrap up of the election. And I thought that I would wait and see what the legislature starts coming up with before I started posting other videos. And so it didn't take long. I wanted to talk to you today about Senate Bill 25003. So that's the third bill booked in from the Senate. And our friend Judy Amabile was the number one sponsor. And of course, Junie Joseph also is as one of the House sponsors. This bill would essentially make it impossible to buy, transfer, produce, distribute, sell any semi-automatic handgun in the state of Colorado, which is essentially all of them. And it does that up front. And then it also makes it impossible to transact in or own. Ownership is allowed. But you can't buy them, you can't transfer them, you can't give them away. You can only give them to your heir or to a registered firearm dealer to be disposed of. So it makes it very difficult to obtain these firearms. And I just wanted to go through and show you that I'm not just making this up. The bill, again, it's Senate Bill 25003. And I don't know which what the schedule is for hearings or anything like that, but we should definitely get in touch to your legislature and let them know you want this bill not to make it out of committee. So the bill prohibits the manufacture, distribution, transfer, sale, and purchase of specified semi-automatic firearms. So you cannot go, if this bill goes into law, you cannot go down to Jack's and purchase any of these specified semi-automatic firearms. Okay, so what are they? And so the bill defines a specified semi-automatic firearm is one of two things. Now, you got to pay attention. The first is a semi-automatic rifle or semi-automatic shotgun with a detachable magazine. So that's one category. And the second category is, it says, or a gas-operated semi-automatic handgun with a detachable magazine. Now, it turns out the gas-operated semi-automatic handguns are as rare as hen's teeth. There's only, I think there's one company in the United States that makes them. It's called Wildy. And it's like a miniature handheld machine gun. It's very expensive and a very obscure weapon. So we'll get into more of that later. But just remember the two distinctions. Any semi-automatic rifle is banned by this, and in addition, any gas-operated semi-automatic handgun is banned in this. Okay, they all have to have detachable magazines. Okay, now it makes the distribution, sale, or purchase of a semi-automatic firearm a Class 2 misdemeanor, which is those are punishable by 3 months in jail and fines of $750. But if you do it twice, then it becomes a Class 6 felony. 3 years in jail and $100,000 fines. So it's a really serious offense. They give you one kind of free pass for only 3 months in jail. So if you would go to a gun show, for instance, and try to purchase a semi-automatic a rifle, you would be in violation of this law. Now. And then they say the Bureau of Investigation shall deny transfer of a firearm to a person convicted. So when you go to buy a firearm now, you have to do an instant background check. and the Bureau of Investigation will say yay or nay, depending on your legal status, okay? So if you've been convicted of these within 5 years, you can't purchase any other firearm, even one of the few ones that would be legal. Now, let's go on here. Now, here is the definition of a semi-automatic, it's a mouthful, semi-automatic firearm. It means any firearm that is not a machine gun and that, upon initiating the firing sequence, fires the first chamber and then uses a portion of the energy of the firing cartridge to extract the expended cartridge case, chamber the next round, and prepare the firing mechanism to fire again, and requires a separate pull, release, push, or initiation of the trigger to fire each round. So now the key operative phrase here, it uses a portion of the energy of the firing cartridge to set up the next round. Now, every semi-automatic rifle, that's how they work. Whether it's they use the recoil from the shot, or whether they use a portion of the gas from the explosion, in the cartridge. But they're all using the energy of the firing cartridge to set up the next round. So basically, this covers every semi-automatic firearm out there. Okay, and then then it goes on to say, all right, then a gas-operated semi-automatic handgun. Okay, it means this in this section. This is as used in this section, unless the context otherwise requires. It defines a gas-operated semi-automatic handgun as any semi-automatic handgun that harnesses or traps a portion of the high-pressure gas, okay, from a fired cartridge to cycle the action. Now, let's just see if I can bring this up here. If you go to, let's see if I can find a Wildy. Okay, here's an example.
Hi, ChrisHagerGuns.com.
This is the
certified used guns.
The Wildy 45.
Excellent deals on fine firearms.
Hang on a second. These are all these other guns.
A lot of people say
but here he's going to show you the Wildy 45. This is not the Wild. This is not that. This is it. Okay, this is a 45 caliber handgun, and you notice that it has these tubing on here. When you fire the round, the gas from the exploding cartridge is then captured, sent back here, and it uses that energy to eject the spent case and chamber the next round. So that is a gas-operated semi-automatic handgun, and there's very few of them made. Okay, so this little diagram just shows how they work, where the gas operation takes when the round is fired in this one, it goes down, and then the gas goes through this chamber, pushes this lever, and then that lever activates the chambering for the next round. All right. So okay, so let's just chamber it. Let's just put that aside for a second. All right. So basically, we've established basically semi-automatic rifles and shotguns are banned, and those are any rifle that uses the energy from the spent round to chamber the next round, whether it's direct energy, recoil, you name it. But the only handguns that it affects are these gas-operated semi-automatic handguns, like that Wildy gun, which I don't think anybody owns, or very few people do. And then they go through describing whether it's a long stroke or a short stroke piston systems. But these only apply to these handguns. They don't apply to rifles. for rifles, all you got to know is if it uses the energy of the first round to load the next round, and it does this semi-automatically, that gun is covered. It doesn't matter whether it's an AR type or a Garand type or what was the actual mechanism. It's just if it uses the energy from the shell. Okay, so it goes through all this long, elaborate description that only applies to handguns, and then now here's in this section here. It says the specified automatic firearm means any of the following. Okay, a semi-automatic rifle or semi-automatic shotgun with a detachable magazine. Or here's that word again. So it means any of these, or any gas-operated handgun. A specified semi-automatic firearm does not include. Okay, so they've written in on the top of this legislation. They've basically banned everything except all semi-automatic long guns and gas-operated semi-automatic handguns. Okay, and then it goes on, but now it's going to give us an exemption. Semi-automatic firearm does not include a firearm designed to accept .22 caliber rounds. Okay. So this is your classic, like the Ruger 1022 is probably the most popular semi-automatic hand long gun in the country. It's a rim-fired, so they're allowing people to transfer or sell or distribute these long guns, but that's it. And then it uselessly goes on to say that a firearm that is manually operated by bolt, pump, or lever action. I mean, it makes no sense because those are totally manually operated long guns. There's nothing semi-automatic about them. So that doesn't make sense to even put that in there. And then a firearm that has a permanently fixed magazine that cannot accept more than 15 rounds of ammo. I'm not sure who makes such a device, but there might be some of those around. They must be antiques. And then a single or double action semi-automatic handgun that uses recoil to cycle the action of the handgun. Well, again, this is basically every semi-automatic pistol out there. Glocks, Berettas, you name it. They all use the recoil from the round to chamber the next round. They're not gas. They don't have chambers and tubing to vent gas from the chamber back to cycle the action. They just use recoil. So again, though, this makes no sense to even have this in there because they've already defined, they've already excluded these weapons from the definition by saying that their new law is going to apply only to gas-operated handguns. But nonetheless, they put that in there. And I'd like to just point out that by the top of the legislation excluding everything, and then in this one paragraph allowing this one type of handgun, long gun, semi-automatic long gun, the semi-automatic 22 rifle is the only semi-automatic rifle that would be allowed in the state if this thing passes. But all they have to do, if they decide too many people are owning these guns and they're causing problems with their regulators, all they have to do is strike this paragraph. Just say, well, Section A of this law has been struck, and that means it eliminates all semi-automatic long guns at all, leaving you only with single action bolt, pump, or lever action or slide action, basically kind of Boy Scout guns. So anyway, then it just talks about penalties here, and you're allowed to take you can take a gun to if if you own one of these guns, it doesn't make them illegal to purchase, to own them, but it does make them illegal to buy, sell, transfer, distribute. So essentially, if you can't buy or sell the weapon, how do you purchase it? People have said, okay, then you just go to Wyoming to purchase these, which is great until they make it illegal to try to cross state lines with one of these illegal weapons. So this is the third bill. Okay, the more of the penalties. I think that's the bottom line of this bill. So again, they're just determined to take firearms out of the hands of law-abiding citizens. To me, if you want to make the world a safer place for firearms, against firearm crimes, put real penalties into the law for people who use firearms in the commission of a crime, and make, for instance, anyone who commits first-degree murder with a firearm has an automatic, mandatory death sentence. There's no life in prison. There's no appeals. If you're convicted of first-degree murder with a firearm, it's a mandatory death sentence. Or if you commit crimes with firearms, make the penalties a lot more severe, and also make it illegal to own firearms if you are not a U.S. citizen. To purchase or to possess a firearm in Colorado, if you're not a U.S. citizen or a legal resident at least, should be a felony. So anyway, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more of this stuff coming down. This is just one category, and everyone says, "Oh, it'll be fine. We don't, so let them have their, just ban these firearms. We'll go to Wyoming or we'll get them somewhere else. So what do we need them for? The police will be here." But just think about what happened in Los Angeles. Whole city blocks burnt to the ground. There was no policeman anywhere near it. There was no fire. There was places where the fire trucks never even showed up. And then gangs of looters showed up, these looter scooters or scooter looters that would come into the neighborhood and just start looting houses. And there were no police there. And so the thing is that individuals need to be able to protect themselves. And limiting your ability, the bad guys are all coming at you with semi-automatic firearms. And if you're limited to a bolt action 22 or a 30-06, a bolt action 30-06, that's just, it's not a fair fight. So I would file this bill. Let's make sure it does not get out of committee. Thanks very much, and I will talk to you later. Bye.